Hello, my name is Abby and this is Parker, and today we will be going through how to teach your dog to sit and lie down. To do this you will need a treat pouch with treats and your dog. You'll also need a low distraction environment with a good amount of space. You won't need them running about, but you'll need to be able to make sure they can sit and lie down. You need to make sure that you yourself are not using any food that you have allergies to or your dog has allergies to, and you need to make sure you know where the nearest exit is in case of an emergency. So mine is right here, and we'll go out there if we need to. Today we'll be using a luring technique, so that means you will need your treat. I'm just using his regular food in your hand like this. Therefore, you need to put it between your thumb and your palm so your dog cannot bite your fingers as you're trying to treat them. And so the luring technique means your dog should follow the treat, and you can lure them in different ways, just like that. Yes. So to start with, your dog needs to be out of the sitting position. Stand. And you will hold the treat like this in your hand and put it to their nose and gently pull up. Yes. You will then mark with a yes or a good to tell them they've done a good job and give them a treat. Once you've done this a few times, so it should look like this. Yes. Once you have done that a few times, you can then fade the lure. So this means you then don't need to treat as often or as close to their mouth. So it should look like this when you're fading it. Yes. You just gently remove it from your dog's nose and pull up. Yes. And they will naturally sit down. Once your dog has done this a few times, sit. You can hold the treat in your hand, turn your hand around, down, and gently pull up. Yes. And your dog should sit down. Then you don't need any treats in your hand. After a while, stand, and you can go sit. Yes. You want to put the verbal marker, so the sit, once your dog knows the action. So once your dog can do that, yes, you can then go sit, yes, like so, and reward your dog every time with the yes or the good. Stand, and then you can eventually fade out the hand. Sit, yes, and then yes, and reward. We're then going to go through how to teach your dog to lie down in the same way, because this applies to most things when training your dog. So you want to hold your treat in your hand, like so. Get your dog excited for the treat, and slowly, it's easier for your dog to start on a sit, but you can slowly lure them down. Yes. Mark with your yes and give the treat. Then get your dog out of the down and do it again. Yes. And like the sit, you can then fade the lure. Sit. And turn your hand this way and go down. Yes. And then eventually you can hold your hand like this with no treat and go down. Yes. Once again, you put the verbal marker with the hand signal, which will be this, once your dog can do it with just the hand signal. Yes, like so. And then once your dog can do it with just the hand signal and no treat in your hands, you can then go down. Yes. Once you have paired the action, so this and him lying down, and paired the hand signal with the action of him lying down, you then add the verbal, like I just showed, and you can take the hand away. So he can then do it verbally. Once your dog understands all of this, you give them some praise. Good boy. Down. And he should be able to do it just like that. Yes. These are very basic and very simple things to teach your dog, but can help in all different kinds of ways. So if you're out on a walk and you see a dog coming and your dog doesn't like other dogs, you can put your dog in a sit or a down, and it can give you some leverage when keeping them focused on you when walking past another dog. It's also helpful to teach a stay or an implied stay to your dog. So down means down, no matter what I'm doing, no matter if I pull them over here, do all this, down is down. And so he cannot break that down until I've told him he can. So you then want to come up with a release word. So that could be okay, that could be break, that could be free. His is free. So if I go, Parker, free, yeah, that means he is no longer required to stay in any particular position. Sit. When I tell him to, that sit now means sit, and he cannot break that sit until I use the release command. It's much easier to teach an implied stay than it is the cue stay, because it makes it much simpler for your dog. You need to make it very clear and very simple for your dog to understand, so then they don't get confused and they can do what you want them to do. Because remember, they don't speak English, so they don't know what we're asking of them, unless we show them what we're asking. Down. Yes. As soon as your dog completes the action that you want, mark with the yes and give the treat straight away, right to their mouth. Once you have done this, it can be very useful in all different types of environments and places, but you should practice inside with very low distractions like this, and then progress to maybe your garden, then out in the pathways, and then out on your walks, and more distractions with dogs, with people, with trucks, with lorries, everything. So your dog can therefore do it anywhere. Because otherwise your dog will only be able to do it in here if you don't practice it outside. And when you are practicing it outside, you need to start right from the beginning. So back to the luring, with the treat in your hand, to their nose, up and down, up and down. If your dog was to break the position, free, you then mark with a negative reinforcer. So that is then a no, and go no, down, yes. And give them the command again. And then when they complete it, yes. When they then complete it, mark with a yes, and the treat again. You don't need to touch the dog, you don't need to do anything else, just mark with a no, tell them that's not what you wanted, that's not what you asked for, and put them back in the position that they were supposed to be in. If you're having problems with this, you need to go to a lower distraction environment or have higher value treats. Your dog should want the treats more than anything. Some dogs are more food motivated than others, so you might have to go higher up, because he's a Labrador, so Labradors normally are very food motivated, so I just have to use his normal regular kibble or biscuits. But some people need to use like ham or cheese or meat and stuff like that. That also works really, really good because it's all natural. You don't want to go with a lot of fake processed treats, as that could upset your dog's tummy, and you don't want that. So your dog should be able to do the sit and the down, either with pure hand signals, so the sit and the down, and they should stay there with you reinforcing it with the no if they get up and the yes when they are doing it well. And they should be able to do this in all different types of environments if you practice it. You only want to do training from about 10 minutes a session, maybe up to 3 a day, because your dog can get tired very, very easily and very quickly. The more you train, the more your dog's stamina with training will increase. But before you start training, you want to make sure you have met your dog's needs. So they have been to the toilet, they have had a run, and now they are ready to train. So that should be all of it. And this should be what the end product looks like. So you don't have any treats in your hand. Parker, sit. Parker, down. And again, Parker, sit. Parker, down. Yes. If you feel like your dog is not as focused as you'd like, you can use their name. So obviously Parker. I use that before the command because that means, hey, look at me, because I'm calling your name. and then you give them a command, and they know she's talking to me, I need to listen to her. That will be it for today. Yeah, and I hope you do well with your dogs, and you're training your dogs, if you do. But in general, that is how you should do it. So, thank you.